Story time about how I figured out my boyfriend was DL. So I'm gonna have to use like fake names for this story time because I don't want people in my life to like kind of put two and two together and try to like have think pieces or try to figure out what the fuck I got going on in my motherfucking life. Okay. So we're gonna name him Jacob. Me and Jacob met via online, and that's kind of how our relationship started to bloom, right? We met online, we were talking for a little bit. Come to find out, Jacob works at a popular lounge that I would frequent a lot. He worked there. Never seen him a day in my life, never was paying attention to him, but he works at this said popular lounge. Okay, cool. Jacob worked from like 5 p.m. to like 1 a.m. With this schedule, it was kind of hard for us at times, but like, you know, after a shift, after he would work, he would come straight to my house always, or I would go straight to his house. However we could do it, we was laying in that bed with each other by the end of the motherfucking night. Okay. Well, as time went on, like in our relationship, Jacob gets off at 12, but he's coming in the house at 1. He's coming in the house at 2. He's coming in the house at 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes before he comes in the house, he'll go straight to the gym. He would go straight to the gym. How are you working 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., but then you drag it? You don't leave till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then on top of that, you go to the gym, or you'll stop by home first. This is when we were living together later down the line. You'll stop by home first, then go to the gym, then come back in. That shit used to blow the fuck out of me. No, red nose, call me a clown. That shit used to blow the fuck out of me, G. That shit used to blow the fuck out of me. It used to blow me. We're gonna move on. So we're gonna reel it back. One day, Jacob is supposed to be coming to my house, y'all. Jacob is supposed to be coming to my motherfucking house, right? I told y'all he gets off at 12 a.m. Well, it's like 1 a.m. It's like 1:30 a.m. He's like, yeah, babe, I gotta go grab some empanadas from my coworker, Jesse. Okay, well, Jesse lives in a city called Warrensville Heights. Okay, Jesse lives in a city called Warrensville Heights, and I know this because I'm looking at his Find My Friends locate my friend. So I see that you are in Warrensville Heights. Keep that in mind. His friend Jesse is gay. His friend Jesse used to work at this lounge with him. Thought nothing of it, because guess what? He brought home some empanadas. Cool. That same night, I want to say, when we had our intimate relations with each other, I was super drunk, right? Super drunk. This man lays on his back when it's time for me to give him supersonic guap 5,000 trillion bajillion, right? It's time for me to perform my skills on him. He lays flat on his back, put both of his motherfucking legs up in the motherfucking air, and put them behind his motherfucking head. When I tell you his legs was like this. His legs was like this. Asshole, hairy asshole, balls, all that just staring at me in my face. Very much on some eat the cake anime. Eat the cake. I ate the cake. Anyway, we're gonna fast forward. So yeah, a couple of months later down the line, he said that he was going to a house party. He was going to his friend Jesse's house party. Did I get invited? No, I didn't get invited. I didn't get invited to this house party, and this is when we were living with each other now. So he goes to the house party. Mind you, I said that Jesse lived in Warrensville Heights. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember when I said that, right? Why the fuck? If anybody knows Cleveland or anybody knows Ohio, why the fuck does he go to a location on the west side? I go Google, I copy and paste the location, put it into my Safari. I zoom in on the house, on the street. Well, that's not Warrensville Heights, babes. That's not Warrensville Heights. You're on the west side. Did I confront him about this? I surely confronted him about this. I surely the fuck did. It was a whole big thing, a whole big argument as, oh, I'm tripping. I said, oh, and I tried to see if he was going to lie. I said, did Jesse, I was about to say the man's real name. I said, did Jesse move? Has Jesse moved? You know, I be trying to give niggas an out. Has Jesse moved? Has he moved? Has Jesse moved from then to now? Has Jesse moved? Because it could have been a move from Warrensville to the west side of Cleveland. No, Jesse ain't moved. Jesse ain't moved. Jesse been living in the same exact place. So why the fuck, when you went to go bring them empanadas to me, when you went to go get them empanadas to bring to me, why the fuck was that location in Warrensville Heights? So nigga, either you're lying about where you're at now, or you was lying about where the fuck you was at then. Come back for part 2.
Get rid of me while I tell y'all how me and my man at the time flew to Orlando, and he was gonna ask me to be his girlfriend over New Year's Eve, and then I ended up leaving early and coming home single as shit. We haven't done a story time in a long time, and this is a good one. This is a good one, so buckle up. Okay, so backstory. This was not this past New Year's, but the New Year's before. So I had a man. He did not live, we did long distance. He was with me the entire month of December. He basically went home with me for Christmas and spent the entire month of December with me in Michigan. And then the plan was we were gonna fly after we spent Christmas with my family. We were gonna fly from Michigan to Orlando to spend New Year's, and all of our friends were meeting up in Orlando to celebrate New Year's Eve together. At this time, he had been my man for like 5 months, and we had discussed becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, and he was like, I just wanna ask you in like a cool way, and like it was in the works, but honestly, I had no idea that he had planned on doing it on this trip. We were going to Orlando to meet up with all of our friends, right? So the friend that we were all staying at her house, she was one of my best friends at the time. So he had hit her up and was like, hey, like, I want to do something cool for Brittany to ask her to be my girlfriend. Like, these are my thoughts and ideas. So he basically was going to decorate our entire guest room in her home. And it was going to be like Pinterest, you guys. Like everything that I have ever wanted and asked a man to do that they have never done, he was gonna do. And he had reached out to her and was like, has a man ever done this to her? And she was like, do you know any of her exes? Like, absolutely not. And so he was going to do like the will you be my girlfriend balloons on the back wall. There was balloons all over like the ceiling, and then there was pictures of us like hanging from the balloons, right? And she had texted me earlier that month and was like, hey, I'm doing Christmas presents, do you prefer like red or yellow, or red or pink? And I said pink, and it was for a gift, but it was really for the theme of the room, I believe. So she is a florist, kind of like she does it on the side because she's really, really good at it. So she went and got these huge bouquets of pink roses, like 50 to 100 roses, right? And there was multiple of them, and they were wrapped in pink Christian Dior paper. So I'm talking like they went all out for this like room decor surprise that I have no idea is even happening. So the entire month of December, he had told me he was actually planning this since Thanksgiving because he wanted to do it over Thanksgiving, but then he was like, I'd rather do it over New Year's because everyone will be there and I want everyone to witness it. So he like, all my friends were flying to Orlando, so he was like, I want y'all to be there so we can like kind of all surprise her at the same time. One of our friends is a full-time videographer, so he had cameras set up in the room from literally every single angle, and it was gonna be like this huge surprise. So let's talk about how this literally fell through and the surprise ended up being canceled. He removed all the decor before we even got there, and like, yeah. So I'm in Michigan for the entire month of December. I am not gonna lie, you guys, this is pre-TikTok days, okay? I was just like down and out. I was going through like a weird transition in my life. I had just stopped being a sports reporter at the time. My best friend in the whole world that also lived with me in Dallas told me days before going home for Christmas that she got a job and she's moving. And because I was going to be gone for the entire month, by the time I got home, she was no longer going to be in the apartment. And then I had to deal with like figuring out who was going to pay her portion of the rent. And like, I was just a literal ball of stress, and it was just horrible. So I'm going through like a lot of my own personal things, right? So this poor man is trying to do everything he can do to help me, and when I am stressed out, like, no one can help me. I just want to be in it and do it on my own. Obviously a very independent person. So when he was trying to help me, he was just literally making things worse, but he wasn't trying to. That's just how it came off to me. There was already some like red flags in the relationship, but nothing that was too bad, because I've honestly been in some horrifying relationships before. But we had issues of like, he didn't like, he came from a different culture, so he didn't like me wearing skirts. He didn't like me having my legs out. He was very big on like me dressing a certain way. I already don't dress really like that. I'm a huge tomboy, so I don't really dress like provocatively. And then also he was big on like, he didn't want me posting on my Instagram story for men to look at, and he didn't want me posting in my bathing suit. So obviously that was a problem, because I travel all of the time and I post in my bikini. But I feel like there's different ways to post in your bikini on the internet, and I'm like very subtle, just like, hey, I'm on vacation. I'm not like sitting there on the beach like trying to pose like anything crazy, I don't think, anyway. So we had some differences when it came to that, but overall we had a pretty like stand-up relationship. So anyway, outside of those red flags, like nothing really bad, other than the fact that I was literally going through it in my life, and I just like didn't know what to do. And when I don't know what to do, I like freak out and I break down and I like shut everybody out. So I cannot keep my mouth shut. And literally my best friend at the time, he literally told me to keep my mouth shut until I got home from New Year's, and told me to like see it through, because I was literally calling and texting my best friend every single day, because he lives in Dallas. And I was like, bro, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I don't like him anymore. I don't know like what's going on. I just have a lot going on in my life. And he was like, see it through until you get home for New Year's. And I did not listen to him. So the day before we're supposed to leave and go to Orlando, I like tell him I need to talk to him, because remind you guys, we are in Michigan with my family for Christmas. And like, we're clearly not getting along. Me and my family just spent hundreds of dollars on him for Christmas to make sure he had a good Christmas, but like, we're just not vibing. So I tell him, I'm like, hey, like, we need to talk. Like, I don't know if I can continue like on with this relationship. Like, this is just too much for me right now with everything that I have going on in my life. And maybe like we should just stop what we're doing until like further notice. So he was like, well, we already booked everything for Orlando. Should we just go to Orlando like as friends? And honestly, I was like, yeah, like all of our friends are already going to be there. So like, let's still just go. Another big issue of why I stopped, like why I wanted to stop dating him, or I mean, I guess talking to him, because we were in the talking stage, was the whole time that he was in Michigan with me, he was on his phone non-freaking stop, and he was constantly texting, but like being secretive about it. And I was like, bro, what is going on? Well, later I find out that he's messaging my best friend back and forth in Orlando, because they're trying to figure out how they're going to decorate the room. But I didn't know that. So I'm just like, bro, like you're texting 24/7. I'm right here. So I don't know why you need to be on your phone. And I'm just like, I'm not vibing with this. So I feel like we should just stop. So we're on our way to the airport. He is still nonstop on his phone. So basically what I find out later is my best friend tries to convince him to not cancel, because he's basically texting my friend nonstop and being like, you need to cancel, take everything down. Like, we're on our way to Orlando. We're on our way to the airport. Take everything down from the room. And she was like, no, like, let's just still ask her, like, maybe she'll say yes. And he was like, no, she's already questioning it. Like, I'm not going to do it. Take everything down. Okay, so we get to Orlando. Everyone's acting weird as heck. Like, I'm talking, everyone is like staring. I don't know what's going on. Like, everyone's acting so freaking weird. And then on top of that, you guys, on the way to Orlando, or like basically the night before we left, I got pink eye. So I'm like, how am I going to go to the club on New Year's Eve with pink eye? I go to the med center the next morning. So I'm in Orlando. I'm like, I'm going to go to the med center and get like the pink eye medication. I ended up wearing glasses to the club. That's a whole nother story. So my little brother gets into the car with me and he's like, I'm going to go with you to the pharmacy so you can get your medicine. And we get in the car and he was like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, he had this like whole surprised like room for you, and everything was supposed to be decorated. And he literally called us late last night and told us to take it all down. I had literally no idea, and I start bawling, crying. Go to part 2.
These new age luxury hairstylists need to be stopped, because imagine paying $1,000 for your hair just for your hairstylist to be holding the content that she took of you hostage. This is why I would never recommend this stylist to anyone. Let's rewind to a month ago, March 20th to be exact. I am scrolling on my For You page on TikTok and I see a hair video come up. It's a stylist who is located in Vegas, and I never see good Vegas hairstylists. They're always either in the Bay Area, in Houston or Dallas, but never in Vegas, and I loved her work. So I click over to her page and I'm scrolling through her videos. I'm like, wow, look at the layers, look at the bounce, look at the fullness. I was just obsessed. I was like, wow, I have to book with her. So I go to the link in her bio and I'm looking at all of her services and her rules and regulations. I'm reading everything carefully just so I don't miss anything. I can see that she has a bunch of different packages, but for the most part, all she does is quick weaves and sew-ins. So this is something that she does regularly. So I feel more comfortable because this seems to be her specialty. So I scroll down and I see that she has a new client sew-in, and this sew-in service includes a shampoo, braiding down your hair, of course, sewing in the bundles, cutting and styling. And I'm like, perfect. I hadn't gotten a sew-in in over a year before I got this done. So it's been a long time coming, and I used to love getting sew-ins all the time. It was just really hard to find a reliable stylist in Vegas. Either way, I'm super excited. I read in her policies that you have to order her own bundles if you want to do this bundle deal or this like sew-in special that she has, right? She sells her own hair, which is fine. Lots of stylists do that. So the way that the pricing is done is if you order her bundles, then the sew-in costs $300. And I'm being specific about the price point because I think it adds to the reason I'm so bothered by the way that this all went down. So walk with me, okay? If you want her to install bundles that are not yours, it's like $400 or $450, something like that. I can't remember. So I'm thinking, well, I need to purchase bundles anyway. That's fine. I'll just purchase her bundles and then I'll do the sew-in for $300. And I'm really fixated on this one specific video that she had posted of a girl with a similar complexion to me, and she had brown hair, and I was like, wow, that color is so beautiful. Mind you guys, I've never had color in my hair outside of the braids I got a couple of months ago, but that didn't really feel, you know, like my own hair because they were braids. If I'm gonna get a nice luxury sew-in from this stylist who seems to have a lot of experience and does amazing work, why not go ahead and try out color on my bundles for the first time? So I go ahead and I add on custom color, and the custom color edition is another $150. Again, I have never gotten color before. I don't know the context. Is that high? Is that low? I have no clue. But the price is the price. And at the end of the day, I really want this one specific look. So if you're keeping up with me, this is a $450 service, excluding the bundles. I go ahead and I book with her for the actual service for April 22nd, 1:30 p.m. It's the afternoon. I know I'll have enough time to prep my hair and do what I need to do, take down whatever style I have before I go ahead in for my appointment. I go through the rest of the booking and pay a $50 deposit. And on that confirmation page, it also says that if you're going to do the $300 sew-in, that within 24 hours, you need to go ahead and purchase the bundles from her website. I want to follow the rules. I don't want to agitate anyone. I respect the parameters. I go to her website, but then I realize I don't know what texture was used in the video that I saw. So I go back to the video. I'm looking in the caption. I'm looking in the comments to see if she has answered it already, but she hadn't. So I go ahead and I send her a text message, and I know that this was late at night because I, just had free time. My son was in bed. That's when I had the time to actually look and book this appointment. I'm going to tell you exactly what I said. I say, hi, apologies for the late message. Definitely don't expect a response at this hour. Just sending now so I don't forget. I just booked an appointment for April 22nd at 1:30 p.m. I'd like this install from your page, except potentially with a middle part, and was wondering which texture and lengths were used to achieve this look. I know I have to place the order in 24 hours on your site, so just wanted to confirm before doing so. Thanks so much. And I had sent this on a Friday night at 11:15 p.m. or 11:13. I understand. I'm sending this message late. That's why I put the disclaimer like, hey, I'm not expecting a response back right this second. I don't hear from her for 2 days, which is fine. It's a weekend. I get it. She sent me a message on Sunday and it says, hi, love. Sorry, I cannot see the link. Can you resend it? I say, absolutely. It's this one. I try sending it again, but for some reason, she's not able to view it. So I say, dang, I don't know why it's not working. Let me take a screenshot. So I take a screenshot and I show her what the hair actually looks like. So then she says, I see it. ST Mink Brazilian 4-bundle deal, 22 inches or 24 inches. And then I say, great, which texture? Because she did say ST, and in my brain, maybe that's straight, but let me just confirm. She says, for the color, we can add on custom color. And then I said, yes, I added when I booked with a smiley face. Is ST straight? She says, yes. Perfect. Please order it. Bundles here. And then she puts her website. And then I say, okay, will do. I have 4C hair. Do you think it would make sense to get a curly texture and have it pressed out for a better match? She says, get loose wave texture. I say, perfect. Ready to check out now. Should I be having it shipped to you or place the order for pickup since it'll be colored? Obviously, if it comes to me, then I'd have to take her the bundles for her to color them, and it would just create more work. She says, yes, select pickup. I say, perfect. Just place the order. Thank you so much. Okay. This is back on March 20th. So I don't hear anything else from her because there's nothing else to say. I feel like I'm all set for my appointment. I'm excited about it. I even talked about going to this appointment on my live streams on some some of my videos. Like I was super, super hyped to go and get this sewing done. So fast forward to the day, now it's April 22nd. I had some things to get done in the morning. Right around 11:30 is when I decided I'm gonna go ahead and take my braids down so that, you know, my hair can be ready to go when I get there for my shampoo. I literally had started taking down the first braid. First braid is out. I'm on my second braid and I get the dreaded "Hey boo" text. But instead of "Hey boo," she says "Hey love." And I'm like, oh no, then nothing good can come from this. So she says, "Hey love, I'm running behind. Can you be here at 2:30? I say, "Hi, yes, I'll be there at 2:30. She pushed me back an hour, but she did let me know 2 hours ahead of time. So I was still at home. I mean, a little annoying because I wanted to be done with my appointment before it got dark. I just have weird feelings about being in a salon suite once it gets dark because I had a weird experience before and it just makes me feel uncomfortable. You know, it's a lot of rooms. You don't know who's in the building. It's dark. I'm with a stranger that I don't know. It just makes me feel uneasy. So that's why I had booked the 1:30 because I'm thinking on the website, it says 3 hours to complete this style. I'll be done by 4:30. It's Vegas. It doesn't get dark here until like 6:30. I'm going to finish. I'm going to record some content. My day will be amazing. Now, the dilemma that I'm having is now that I have more time, does it make sense for me to shampoo my own hair? Because we lost an hour and I still want to make sure that I'm done with enough time to still record what I need to record. I'm debating. I'm going back and forth because I am technically paying her for this shampoo. It's part of the experience and part of the amount that I'm paying. But at the end of the day, I wanted to make sure that my scalp was super, super clean. And I've been a stylist before who do not get to the scalp. They don't get the grime off of your scalp and your hair is essentially still dirty, or maybe not your hair, but more so your scalp is still dirty. Your hair is not going to come out well if you're not working off of clean hair and a clean scalp. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and wash it myself. That way we can save time. And then on top of that, I'll be sure that my scalp is fully clean. I clarify my hair 3 times. I deep condition, and then I go ahead and put a t-shirt over my head. I'll have her blow dry just in case the stretching of the hair is like part of the outcome of the style. Let me just like let her do her thing, but at least I'm already coming clean. I feel like I'm making great time. My plan was to leave an hour before the appointment, so that would be 12:30. But since she puts me back to 2:30, now it's 1:30 that I need to leave. Her salon is about 32 minutes away from where I live. So I'm thinking just in case there's traffic or an accident or something, let me make sure that I'm giving myself enough time to get there and park and not feel like I'm being rushed. On top of that, I wanted to vlog it, you know, come with me to get my hair done. I'm literally on my way and it is 1:50 and I get another text message. Actually, please be here 3:30. Not, hey, I'm sorry, I'm still running late. Do you think you can come a bit later? Hi, just letting you know I'm not going to be done on time. Is it possible for you to come later? Do you need to reschedule? Can you still make it work? No, just telling me come at 3:30. I'm like, hi, I'm already on my way. Is there a place I can wait? You guys, she never texted me back. So after a couple of minutes of her not responding, I'm like, let me go back home because my hair looks crazy. I can't go and just lollygag for an extra hour because I look crazy. So let me just go back home. I turn around, I drive back home. The reason that I felt like I could not decide to not go is because she has the bundles. For the 4 bundle deal for the lengths that I got, which I believe was 24 inches, was $660 or something like that, just shy of $700. So she has these bundles with her and she has my deposit. Had it only been a deposit, honestly, I might have just been like, you know what? No, like this is annoying. I do not feel like going back and forth with anyone. That's just not my style. I don't want to have to argue with her about the bundles and when I can pick them up. I didn't want any drama. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I come back home. I end up leaving out again right around 2:45. I'm driving. I'm on the way. I'm on the phone with the guy that I'm talking to and I'm like, yeah, it's so annoying that she pushed me back 2 times, but I'm going to try to have a positive attitude and just make the most out of it. Now, am I going to have to deal with some BS along the way? Probably. I'm not going to lie. I did get a bad feeling that something was going to go horribly wrong during this appointment, and I wasn't wrong because my intuition never lies. Big Leo energy. I should have just been more mentally prepared because my gut was telling me something was off. So remember how I said she never texted me back? At 3:29, mind you, she pushed me to 3:30. 3:29, she sends me a message and she says, yes, I'm ready. Are you here? Sorry, just seen it. You're lying. You're lying. I'm sorry. You're lying. There's no way you did not see the text for an entire hour and a half. You did not look at your phone one time for an hour and a half. Be for real. You're a business owner. There's no way on earth. And this was actually confirmed because when I went in, she was actively checking her phone. So you definitely saw it. You just didn't feel like you owed it to me to respond to me, which is crazy work. I'm your client and I'm asking you a question. Hey, is there a place for me to sit? Because I'm already on my way to your establishment and you have already inconvenienced me 2 times now, but I'm being unreasonable for asking, hey, is there a place that I can sit? It's crazy and it's terrible communication. Having good communication is part of being professional and doing your job well. And on top of that, there's a way that you speak to someone. It's called respect. Simple respect, right? So in my head, when she said, oh, I just seen it, you're lying and it's annoying, like you're insulting my intelligence. So anyway, I say yes to answer her question about, are you here? So I go to the door. I'm waiting for like 3 minutes. She comes to the door and she says, hey, how are you doing? And I say, hey, I'm fine. How are you? I'm in my bubble. bubbliest? Am I my perkiest? No, I'm annoyed. But I will be honest and say that I was not rude to her. I responded back to her. I didn't come in with an attitude. I just wasn't my full bubbly self. We get into her salon suite, very pretty in there. And I even told her that. I was like, oh, I love your paint in here. She asked me how I'm doing again. I don't know if she was just trying to like break the ice or create some small talk or something. And I was like, oh, I'm good. How are you? Because you already asked me that, but whatever. Let's keep on going. So as she's taking the t-shirt off of my head, I say, I already washed in deep condition, so maybe we can speed this up. And I don't care if it came off a little bit shady. That's one less thing that you have to do that I am already paying for. She says, oh, okay. You've made me feel off put. Now everybody feels off put. All right. She gets to blow drying my hair. Now, question for the class. If you are blow drying kinky curly hair, I have 4C hair. What do you use to blow dry your hair? Basically what she is doing is she has the blow dryer in one hand and she's combing out my hair with her other hand, but she's aggressively pulling it. And you guys, I am not tender-headed. I never have been tender-headed. I grew up getting box braids in my hair. I know how to withstand a little bit of pain to my scalp, girl. But she is literally like pulling out my hair. I hear it and I feel it being ripped out of my head. So my question is, as a hairstylist who is charging a premium price, why are you not using the tools that are at your disposal to properly blow dry my hair? Instead, you are choosing to yank out my hair with your hands and blow dry so aggressively. Like, it made no sense. The plot thickens. It gets worse. What is the only worst thing that you can use to blow dry your hair besides pulling it out with your hands? This girl grabs a rat tail comb. A rat tail comb, the smallest comb that you can get. And she is combing from the root of my head to the tips of my hair. Why are you combing from the root? Did we not all learn this at like 6 years old? If you're going to comb your hair, that you do it from the tip up to the root so that you don't pull out your hair, so that you're gentle. It was honestly mind blowing to me that this was her method of blow drying. This was the absolute worst blow dry I've ever had in my entire life. So she finally finishes the blow dry and it's time to move on to the braid down. So she is braiding my hair. And for anyone who has ever had their hair braided before, you know that as you're braiding the hair, you kind of have to pull the strands through so that you don't create another braid or a knot at the bottom. But she is creating knots and actively just pulling out the knots and then flicks it on the floor. I know for a fact I'm losing hair as she's doing all of this because she's not being gentle. What it feels like is that she's rushing because she started 2 hours behind schedule. Granted, I don't know the context of why she was pushed back. Did she have a problematic client? Did she have a late start to her morning? I have no clue. But honestly, it's not my problem. All I know from my perspective is that you have pushed me back. So how's it fair to me that now you're rushing through my appointment because you were running late? We're not running late because of me. We're running late because of you. Anyway, she finishes the braid. She puts some oil on my scalp. She puts a net. She asks me to hold the sides of the net while she sews it down. She does all of that. Okay. Now it's time to move on to the bundles. And because in my brain, I'm thinking this is going to be a vlog, I'm like, let me get a couple of little clips. So I'm like, can I see the bundles? That way I can go ahead and take a little bit of a video of it. What I didn't say before is that as we're going through the appointment, she did try to strike up conversation with me a couple of times. She had asked me whether or not I was doing YouTube because I guess she was looking over my shoulder at my phone, which is very intrusive. Like, I get it. You're working above me, so you might glance down and see something, but it just made me feel uncomfortable. She was like, oh, is that YouTube? And I was like, oh yeah, it is YouTube. I do a little bit of YouTube on the side or whatever. And then another time I was commenting back to some comments on one of my other videos and she was like, oh, that's your TikTok? And I was like, yeah, that's my TikTok. That's how she knew that I was doing a little bit of content. And I did tell her like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of a vlog or something. So I'm recording the bundles and I'm like, are these the colored ones? And you guys, she looks at me and she says, you got color? Saxophones are getting louder. I'm like, yes. This was supposed to be custom color on the bundles. And she's like, hold on, let me check. So she gets on her phone and she's clicking through and she's like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be color. First of all, I wasn't lying. Why would I make that up? I know what I booked. And so she's like, oh, I can still color them. And I'm just like, well, how long is that going to take? And she's like, oh, 30, maybe 45 minutes. Like, it's not going to be that long. In my head, I'm like, an extra 30 to 45 on an already 2-hour delayed appointment is not nothing. Like, now we're dragging it. And I'm like, okay. So she gets on the phone. She's like, hold on, let me call my assistant. All right, girl. She gets on the phone and she's telling whoever like, oh, it's in the garage on the white shelf or whatever. It's out of my control at this point. And I really just had this image of how I wanted my hair to look. I have a trip coming up to Japan, a solo trip, and I wanted my hair to look a certain way. We wait a good maybe 20 minutes or so for somebody to bring the color. But now she has to do the whole process. I am not a hairstylist. I don't know a lot about dyeing hair, but I know that it's not something that takes 5 minutes, right? So I know that she's going to have to apply the color. It's going to have to sit. She's going to have to wash it out, right? This is a multi-step process, which is why it should have been done and ready for when I got there. So she's prepping the hair for the color. And as she's doing that, she says, I can give you $25 off for pushing you back and for the color. America, $25 off of over $1,000 that I'm spending with you between the bundles and the service, $25 off. Am I tripping or is that nothing? Am I being unreasonable? Am I being entitled? Keep in mind, she also has never apologized. And I know that that might sound petty, but it's just a human decency thing. It's not just what you say, it's the way that you say it. And it just just was giving like, here, damn. I'm over here like, girl, you know, $25 is nothing to you and it is nothing to me. So let's not make it seem like that makes up for any of the BS that has gone on during this appointment. And you guys have to keep in mind that this entire time, I'm pretty much acting under duress. I need my hair to be done. I don't want her to play in my head. If I'm going back and forth with her, like, no, you need to give me 100 off. No, you need to give me this off or that off. I don't want her to not do a good job on my hair. At this point, all I want is for my hair to be done and for me to get up out of there. I don't argue with her. I'm just like, all right, I appreciate it. She colors the hair. Now we have to sit and wait for an hour for the hair to process or to take or whatever. I don't know the right verbiage for that. We're sitting, I'm on my phone, I'm editing, she's doing whatever she's doing. It's awkward, it's quiet. I mean, just uncomfy. Literally, you guys, you know that song, I think I'm gonna die in this house. That's how I feel. Like, damn, am I ever gonna be out of here? Finally, it's done, and she is able to go and rinse it out, wash it out. The bundles are ready to go in my head. She starts to sew the bundles in my head. She did poke me a couple times. I didn't make it a big deal because that happens. You know, I'm not expecting for her to be perfect. I don't think it's intentional, but at the same time, it's like, at this price point, like, why am I being poked? Eventually, she finishes sewing, and now she has to take care of my leave out. Now, I had watched a lot of videos on her page, so I know the way that she does her leave out, which is the way that I prefer. You add some kind of like a mousse or a setting lotion to the hair, and then you kind of like wrap it with a net or something, and then you sit under the dryer. So it helps it keep its shape and it doesn't frizz up and lift as much. That is what I'm expecting that she's going to do, because every single sew-in that I've seen on her page, that is how she does the leave out. But then she's like, hold on, let me go check something. She leaves, she comes back, and I don't know if maybe they only have 1 or 2 hooded dryers and someone was using it. I don't know what happened, so I will be honest about that. But she comes back, she puts whatever the setting lotion is on my hair, and then she grabs the blow dryer, and then she's blow drying my hair. So I'm thinking, oh, so I'm not gonna go sit under the dryer. I don't even bring it up at this point because I just want to get out of there. I can tell the difference. My hair is not as silky as it would have been had she used that method, because I've done that method before, and that is the best way to get the hair to lay, you know, and really blend in with the bundle. So I'm like, okay, whatever. She finishes doing that, and she asks me what size curls I want. I'm like, oh, I want a lot of layers and I want big curls. We give credit where credit is due. We're never gonna exaggerate over here. I'm telling it exactly as it was. Did she do a good cut? She did. She put a lot of layers in the hair. She was doing her big one with the scissors. I was like, cool, this is what I paid for, the expertise. But the service is just trash. It really feels like she's trying to get it to look good, but that's part of the problem. If all you care about is the way that the hair looks, but not the damage that you're doing to the hair or the health of the hair, then I'm not gonna have any hair left, you know, if I keep coming to you. So in order to blend my real hair further with a bundle, she uses a hot comb. And I'm sorry, she needs to practice more with a hot comb. She burned me multiple times with this hot comb. And if anyone has ever experienced getting your hair pressed out or silk pressed or flat ironed or whatever, and somebody uses a hot comb for your roots, if they burned you once, you're gonna be like cringing every time they go close to your scalp because you know what it feels like to be burned. She does that a couple of times. She does apologize once or twice when she did it, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, because what else can I say? You know what I mean? Thank God she's finally done with a hot comb, and she goes in with a curling iron. She does a curl, and then she pin curls it. She does a curl, she pins it, and she does my whole head. She sprays it, does her thing, takes the pin curls down. The curls look pretty. I do think that the color looks good. It's what I wanted. So I'm not going to say that the quality of her work is the problem. It's everything surrounding it. Now, one important thing that I didn't mention is that in the confirmation email that I got the day before my appointment, because for some reason stylists these days can never let you know their location until the day of or the day before, which is so silly in my mind. In that email, it says, come camera ready. So not only am I paying you a premium price for the services that I'm getting, but you also are expecting that I'm going to come with makeup on and ready to pose, which is a diabolical ask when you are being paid for a service. You're not paying me to be featured in your content. You're not giving me a discount for being in your content, even though that same content is going to be what brings you in new clients. You shouldn't feel forced or pressured into being in somebody's content. I already was going to come ready for content because I was going to record my own content. I'm making my vlog. That's where my mind is at. So I'm like, okay, let me look cute. I'm just making a case for the fact that not everybody wants to be on camera, and you as a stylist cannot put that expectation on your clients. But either way, because I know she's recording, I'm like, hey, can you send me the clips that you get so that I can use it for, you know, my stuff? And she was like, you want me to send you all the clips? And I was like, yeah, it's just, you know, like B-roll. I can put it in my vlog. And she's like, okay, yeah, I can send them to you. I had brought this up at least 2 times prior to the end of the appointment. The end of the appointment comes, I'm ready to pay her and get out of there. I was itching to leave. And she's like, oh, do you have cash? And I was like, no, I have a card. And she was like, oh, okay, I was just asking. And I was like, wait, why? And she was like, well, if you pay with Apple Pay or Cash App, it's an extra 10% processing fee. And here is where I can take accountability, you guys, because I'm never going to just tell you one side of the story. I'm going to tell you my part in it too. On her booking site, it does say that if you don't bring cash, you'll have to pay 10% to pay with Apple Pay or Cash App. I'm not going to argue with you on that because it's on your booking site, and by booking with you, I have accepted the terms and conditions, right? That was my fault for overlooking that and not coming with the cash. But at the same time, in what universe is there a 10% processing fee for any institution? I don't know about you guys, but the highest I've ever seen for a credit card processing fee is 5%, but what I see more often than not is 2.5 to 3%. 10% is crazy. You're allowed to do whatever you want. You're allowed to charge whatever you want, but that's really just taking advantage of people. Mind you, it was $450, $300 for the sew-in, $150 for the color. I paid the $50 deposit. So now we're at $400. And she gave me that week $25 discount. So now I'm at $375. But with the 10% fees, it came out to like $415 or something. Do you know that this girl has the nerve to turn the phone around for a tip? Which is so insane, because if you know me in real life, you know that it is not uncommon for me to leave a 50% tip for a beauty service, a 75% tip for a beauty service, double up on the payment for a beauty service. I love to give a good tip, especially if it's a Black woman. This is the first time I have not tipped a beauty provider in my entire life. I'm talking about in college when the funds were limited, I would still tip people. Do you know how bad it has to be for me to not give you a tip? Girl, the way I click no tip, because are you insane? And actually the irony of it all is that it got declined the first time because Chase thought it was fraud. Even the bank thought you were scamming, girl. And as I'm doing this, I remind her again, hey, can you airdrop me those videos? She's like, yeah, I'll do it. We finish everything. I'm ready to go. Okay, I grab my purse. I say thank you. She walks me to the door. She says bye. I say bye. I get to the car and I realize that she still hasn't sent me the videos. And so I send her a text and I'm like, hey, can you send me those videos, please? This was yesterday. Ask me if she has texted me back. Crickets. So you're gatekeeping the content that you took of me. Mind you guys, it wasn't just like a picture here, a picture there. No, full videos with the light directly pointed towards me. Like, you took actual legitimate content of me and you don't want to send me the content of me. What, because I didn't give you a tip? Like, what's tea? What's the problem? So that is how we got here, you guys. I've never had an experience like this where I absolutely love the results of the service that I got. Minus this crooked ass middle part, because you guys tell me, does this look like a middle part or does this look like a forward slash? The part is not straight. At that price point, you think you'd be able to get a straight part. Nope. There's a couple of places where my hair is lumpy because of the way that she braided it. But overall, I like it. She will never see me again though. And this is what is so incredibly frustrating. You spend your hard-earned money on a luxury beauty service or any type of beauty service just for the stylist to absolutely disrespect you and play in your face. So with all of that context, that is the reason why I'm not going to share where I got this hair. I'm not going to share who did it because she does not deserve your business. She didn't deserve my business. And I'm not going to send any promotion or publicity her way. And if you are in the Las Vegas area and you're wondering if this is someone that you have booked with, you can DM me and ask me, hey, is the stylist this person? If it is, I will let you know so that you can avoid booking with her. I'm not here for drama, but she did me dirty. She did. And that's the end.
Story time on how I walked in on my situationship and best friend hooking up, and then I later found out it was going on for a year and a half. Okay, I want to start off by saying, one, I've made this video a couple times, and two, I'm so nervous to post this video because this is vulnerable, girl. Okay, I moved you guys higher up. I just also never thought I was going to get on social media platform and tell this story, but it gets to a point, and I just think that why not tell the most traumatic moment of my life? Okay, so in order for this to make sense, I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit. I'm gonna try not to make this super long. I also need to preference this by, I'm a dumbass, and I know I'm a dumbass, and I did a lot of dumbass things, okay? I don't need anybody in the comments telling me I'm stupid. I already know, I already lived it, but it's already done. So we're gonna move on from me making dumb decisions, okay? So, met my 4-year-long situationship in 2021. We had a great dynamic at first. We were actually really good friends, and we just had a good understanding and dynamic of like what our situationship like looked like and entailed. The line started to blur when he moved in with me, and he moved in with me and stayed with me for about 2 years, but towards the end it was like a consistent year. He would like on and off the first year. The last year it was like pretty consistent. He was with me all the time. His stuff was in my house. Clothes, toothbrush, shoes, cologne, body wash, all of that. I met my soon-to-be best friend in 2022, so like a year after I had met him. She was a friend of a friend, and she was significantly younger than me, which I really at the time didn't think that the age made a difference, but now looking back, that it made a huge difference. So like I said, she was a friend of a friend. She came around. She kind of like just stuck around. My house was the party house, so every time we did something, I would invite her over, and we just became super close really fast, very, very fast. So I lived in one apartment, and then we moved from, that was a 3-bedroom apartment. We moved to a different 3-bedroom apartment, me and my best friend Anya at the time, and we had another roommate with us that moved into another 3-bedroom apartment. After about a year of living in this 3-bedroom apartment, my best friend Anya had to move back to Massachusetts. Mind you, in between this, my situationship was staying with me. He came from one apartment to the next apartment. But my best friend Anya had to move back to Massachusetts, so I had this 3-bedroom apartment to myself. I had 2 open rooms, and I asked my best friend at the time if she wanted to move in with me. So she moved in with me, so it was me, her, and the man. It was us 3, and we did everything together. Everything together. Which that didn't age well, but who cares? But we did do everything together. We were like a... we were like a 3 peas in a pod, honestly. We did everything together. Yeah. We lived together. Obviously, we did everything together. So the day before everything happened, the day before I walked in, it was a completely normal day. She worked. Me and him had the day off, and I went to Target, ran errands, whatever. Nighttime came, and he made dinner. We watched a movie. I fell asleep during the movie. When I woke up, he wasn't there anymore, but she was home from work, and I was like, where's so-and-so? And she was like, he went to the airport to go pick up his cousin. I had fallen back asleep, woke up again, and they were like all in the kitchen pre-gaming, and they wanted to go out, but I worked a morning job, so I didn't want to go out. I had to be up at like 6 in the morning. So they went out, and I believe it was those 2 and then maybe like 3 or 4 other people. And when they came home, it was like probably 3 in the morning, and he came into my room, gave me a kiss on the cheek, and he was like, I'm gonna be right back. So I fell back to sleep again, and I woke up, and he wasn't next to me. And so I texted him, and right after I sent the text message, something was like, no, you gotta get up and you gotta go look around the apartment. So I wake up, walk out of my room. As soon as you walk out of my room, there's a couch in the living room. It was like as soon as you walked out of my room, and I can see a body on the couch, so I like felt like a little bit of a relief, and I was like, okay, he's just right there, which wasn't super odd of him to have like slept on the couch sometimes. Anyways, I get up close, and it's not him, it's his cousin. So my stomach drops in my stomach, because I already know what's about to happen, like, you know, when you just know. So I walked down the hallway, and I turned my body slightly, and her door was wide open, the light was on, and he was downtown having a ball. I didn't really do nothing. No, I didn't do nothing at all. I looked, and I said, are y'all cool? And she like scooted back and was like, and he like immediately stopped and like chased after me and was like, Brooklyn, no, I'm sorry, we're drunk. It's okay. And he followed me out, and I was like, you need to get your things and you need to go. But like I said, not the smartest, okay? I think that it was honestly because I was in a state of shock that I wasn't the smartest, but I told him to go. He packs his things up, but he doesn't leave for like 5 hours. He like stays in the crib. Red flag. And also, she doesn't come and chase after me or like say sorry right away. Another red flag. Like, they were both being oddly like weird, and like almost like it was a normal reoccurrence that this has happened. This is just the first time that they've been caught. Okay, come back for part 2. I'm trying to go fast, guys. I really am.
Hey y'all, so it's time to go back outside with the movers and the shakers. And this is the story about how my homegirl set me up to be robbed. So y'all know I have to give y'all a little backstory every time I tell y'all a story so I can catch you up on everything. So I'm going to take y'all back to a few months before I got robbed. So I got to take y'all back to before my daughter passed away. So all this started at the end of 2019 when I was looking to purchase my first home. So I ended up moving out of my apartment because my lease was up and moving into my dad's house with my dad because I was getting ready to purchase my home. So around this time, my baby daddy hit me up. He was in prison and he had a cell phone. So he hit me up and he was like, hey, can I have my son's phone number? I would like to talk to him and build a relationship with him. And me being the type of mother that I am, I was like, sure, no problem. I gave him the number. So y'all, within 2 months of this man having my son's phone number, my son started to become a totally different child. If you knew my child, he was always, You know, very respectful, very soft-spoken, good kid in school. And after I gave him my son's phone number, my son started to get disrespectful. He started to fail his classes. He wasn't doing his homework. Like, he just became a totally different kid. So because he was getting in trouble, I started putting him on punishments. I started taking his phone, I took his game, I took his bike. Like, he played sports, so he would have to sit out of the sports. You know, just consequences for your actions. So one day we at the house, and I asked him to help me with my daughter. And he said, you do it. That's your baby. So y'all, I end up spanking his ass that day. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. So a couple days later, DCF and a police officer showed up at my house because they said that they had got a report that I had been abusing my son. So y'all, when they showed up at my house, I snapped. Like, what the fuck you mean I've been abusing my son? This little boy is very well taken care of. Like, spoiled beyond spoiled. So I'm snapping on the DCF and the police officer and stuff like that. And I'm actually finna get ready to leave my house. So I tell my son to come get in the car. And when I tell him to come get in the car, he start going crazy, screaming, telling the police, no, I don't want to go with her. No, I don't want to go with her. She gonna beat me. She gonna beat me. So the police that was there end up calling a sergeant. So when the sergeant come, he like, you know, we just gonna diffuse the situation. Is there anywhere else that he can go for the night, or is there anywhere that you can go for the night? Let's just separate y'all. And at first I'm like, hell no, y'all not separating me from my child. Like, I ain't done nothing to him. Like, he's very well taken care of. And they're like, well, you know, we need to do an investigation, and the way that he's acting like he's scared to go with you. So I think it would just be best if you guys separate. So I'm like, okay, cool. He can stay here with my daddy, and I'll go stay at my homegirl house because she drive trucks, so she was gone on the road. So I had already took his phone and everything when he got in trouble before. So I was like, when I get to my homegirl house, I'm gonna go through this phone and see what's going on. So when I get to my homegirl house, I go through my son's phone. And when I go through his phone, I go through the messages between him and his daddy. And y'all, my goodness, a fuck nigga gonna always be a fuck nigga. In the messages, I see that my son, you know, he's still been sneaking and using the phone, contacting my baby daddy. And he complaining to him like about his schoolwork and about stuff at the house, and if he don't do this and he don't do that, he gonna get in trouble. And my baby daddy is telling him like, you don't need that homework in the real world. You shouldn't be doing it anyway. Don't worry about doing that, because when you get grown, it ain't gonna matter. He also telling my son stuff like, you know your mama evil. You know that's why I never been a part of your life. She's always kept me from you. And I've never kept him from him. You have been in and out of prison his whole life from the time he was 3 months old. You done did 2-year bids, 4-year bids, 5-year bids. Like, you never been out. And when you was out, you was running the streets so hard, you didn't have time for your children. I'ma just give y'all an example. There was one time I had went to jail, and my son was getting ready to start school. So when I got out of jail, I had $218 to my name, y'all. So I called my baby daddy, because this was one of the rare times that he was not in prison. And I'm like, hey, listen, I ain't got nothing but $218. I just got out of jail. Can you help me get Janai's school clothes? So he said, yeah, meet me at University Mall tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, cool. So y'all, the next day we go to the mall and it's 3 o'clock and we waiting on him, and he don't never show up, and he stopped answering the phone. So I had to take my last $218, y'all, and let my baby pick out some shoes and get him a couple outfits. And then the next day, I had to take the clothes back to the mall and get my money back. I had to take them $218 and go get me some work, jump back outside with the movers and shakers, and flip, so I could go back and buy my son some school clothes and have some money to maintain my house. That's the type of stuff I had to do with this man. Okay, so back to the story. So, a couple days go by. I'm staying in my homegirl house. But I got an open DCF case that they investigating. And I'm getting ready to go down and sign the paperwork for my house. So while I am there signing the paperwork for my house, I get a call that my daughter has been in an accident and I need to hurry up and get to the hospital. So I leave them and I rush to the hospital, and by the time I get to the hospital, my daughter is unresponsive. And she ended up being in the hospital for 5 days. Longest 5 days of my life. And when I tell y'all my baby fought, she fought hard, y'all. She fought hard, and I was on my hands and knees praying every day. Praying, like just hoping for any kind of miracle. And in those moments, y'all, I knew how my mama felt when she was on her hands and knees praying and begging the Lord to save my life. I found myself reciting the same words that my mama said. Lord, take me instead. Spare my child. Just take me instead. Like, just begging God. But at the end of the day, she ended up succumbing to her injuries, and she passed away after a very hard fight on June 1st of 2020. So at this time, my daughter has passed away. I have an open DCF case because someone has called and said that I'm abusing my son. And when my daughter passes away, they send DCF to the hospital to do an investigation about that also. And then I have to start planning her funeral. So they end up clearing me of everything. And y'all gonna have to come back for the next part. I just come back.
So boom, guess what the fuck happened last night? I got into an altercation with a guy in front of the bathrooms while I was waiting for my friend to come out of the bathroom because she had one too many drinks and needed to go twinkle. So I didn't want to go in the bathroom with her because the bathroom did not smell the freshest, okay? And I didn't need to use the bathroom. So as a good friend, I waited for her outside, respectfully minding my own business. Then this guy, who literally was dressed in a green fitted, a green shirt, jeans, and some green sneakers, some Air Force, but they were like green and white. He's there, and he's like leaned up on the wall. Obviously, he's drunk, right? So I'm minding my business, just waiting for my friend. He looks at me and he's like this, I'm celebrating my hood day. And I said, what? He said, I'm celebrating my hood day. And I said, is that like your birthday? He said, nah, I'm celebrating my hood, my city, where I'm from. And I'm like this, oh, okay. You know, congratulations. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you want me to say happy hood day? Like, I don't know what you want me to say. So I say, congratulations. And he's like, yeah, you're not from here. I'm like, no, I'm not from here. He's like, so what's your name, not your stripper name? Instantly turned off. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what you was trying to insinuate, but you trying to be funny. So that's where the conversation ended. So I left the man talking to himself. I did not answer him. I did not engage in any further conversation, okay? Cuando te digo, when I tell you, that was it. That was it. Dead from there. Done. I don't got to continue. So he's going off the mouth. And he keep looking at me, looking at my chest, looking at me in my face, looking at my chest, looking at me in my face. Mind you, my friend is inebriated, right? So I don't know what she was doing taking so long in the bathroom, but I also, and granted, in hindsight, maybe I should have went in the bathroom. Maybe it is my fault because I decided to stay out waiting for her. But I felt like I was here. I was minding my business. You came up to me. You talking some, I don't know, nonsense out of your mouth, but you drunk, so I'm going to let it be. Well, then another homeboy with a hat. He had a bucket hat. He had on a blazer, a white shirt, a red tie, but with some jeans and some sneakers. He had on a bucket hat. The bucket hat was navy, and the inside was white, so it looked like a reversible bucket hat with a white button-up shirt, a red tie, a blazer, jeans, and sneakers. Leave that there. Then there was another guy who was wearing a rhinestone skull embroidered shirt, right? Rhinestone skulls. And then the pants had these rhinestone crosses all over them, right? And I don't even know what the sneakers were. To be honest, I don't even know what the sneakers were. And Carajito, the guy that was talking out his neck, because it gets worse.
Save 14 minutes via CA 71 South.
So boom. He's wearing a green shirt. The green shirt had like some sort of graphics, but they look like filigree. If you know what filigree is, it was filigree. It was a whole bunch of like filigree and like a black like flocked velvet. Like embroidery on the shirt, and then some jeans and some green and white Air Force. So boom. His homeboy come and he's like, yo, what you doing here? He's like talking to Shorty, if that's what she is. So that's when my ears perk up. He's like, yo, I'm not gay. And I'm like, where's he randomly coming out with these things? So he's like, yo, go touch her. See if that's a woman. Or if that's a man. His homeboy is like, yo, stop, you tripping. He's like, nah, I ain't tripping. I know what I see. I know a man when I see it. Now hear me out. I don't know if you need glasses, but if a man is what you see when you see me, clearly we're seeing two different things. And I understand that I'm intersex, and I understand that means I don't fully fit in either category. I am in this in between, but clearly what you see is woman, baby. And a woman is what I am, and a woman is what I embrace, and a woman is what I walk in, and a woman is who I am. Period. Punto final. Hello. But something in me was like, all right, let's take it there. I said, and? He's like, you see? And I'm like, and? That's what I kept on saying. I was like, and? Okay, now what? He's like, well, I want that shit away from me. And I said, okay, you could go. I was here before you. Like, you could go. I was minding my business. You felt some type of way because what you saw was what you were attracted to what you saw. And it made you question, and that questioning made you feel uncomfortable. Because you feel uncomfortable and your homeboys were around, you wanted to announce something. You wanted to puff up your chest and act like a man, right? Now what? Because I'm to the point where it's like, enough is enough. And everybody keeps telling me, oh, well, you need to go to queer spaces. Is that where we're at? So I need to go to WeHo in order to be able to go outside? Is that what that really is? So I need to go to specific designated spaces so I could just exist. So a bitch can't go to the supermarket. She can't go to the mall. She can't go to TJ Maxx. She can't go outside and walk in the park. She can't go to the club. She can't have a drink. She got to be some place where it's designated for the LGBTQ plus A. So now I got to alter my life, and I got to think about the places where I'm strategically accepted. You're not going to tell me I have to live my life like that because of your ignorance. I'm going to have to live my life like that. I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm going to have to tiptoe around everybody to not offend nobody simply because I exist in my authenticity. Hazme favor. I'm done with that. I'm so done with that. Like, at this point, like, throw the pause. I may lose a couple of rounds, but I don't care. Because I'm going to keep getting up and I'm going to still be me. I'm going to still be me, whether you have a problem with it or not. But please do me the favor and deal with the problem that you have to yourself. Don't vocalize that problem. I don't need to hear that. Okay? You're uncomfortable because you like what you see. That's the problem. That's the issue you don't want to face. That's what you don't want around you. You don't want the physical reminder that it's the questioning that you're having with yourself. Oh, you like, oh, I think this is what it is, but why I keep looking at it? Why I keep focusing on it? Nobody else was bothering me, but you honed in on it. You saw it. It bugged you. It got under your skin. Why? Why? And that's the part. That's the part that people want to be like, oh, but you need to tell people. So what, I'm supposed to wear a shirt that says I'm intersex? I'm intersex. Look that up before you come and approach me. Is that really what people want me to do? And if that's what it is, then maybe I need to come out with a clothing line. Hello? Like, then we all gonna start wearing our labels on our shirt? Is that what we doing now? Oh, are we wearing the little badges saying, oh, hi, I'm cisgendered. Hi, I'm bisexual. Hi, is that really what we're doing? Honestly, like, ¿qué tú ganaste with it? Like, what did you win with that? Like, oh, okay. Haha. You called me a man. Now what? Now what? That's the question. And he never gave me an answer because he don't even have the answer for himself. He don't even know what that means now. But I bet you he's still thinking about it. I bet you.